Good evening, friends. Today is the
Hello
68th
everyone.
session of Golden Charcha, EIRC initiative Golden Charcha, an enriching webinar series by EIRC of ICAI on every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Today's speaker is our own CA Prateek Chaudhary, and topic is today's topic is vibe coding for CA. Vibe coding for CA. Today's speaker is Prateek Chaudhary. CA Prateek Chaudhary is a fellow chartered accountant and holds a Bachelor of Commerce with honors from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. Process expertise in technical aspects of finance and auditing. He is ICAI certified professional on
चिंपू भाई आपकी
artificial
आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
intelligence level 1 GST and concurrent bank audit, showcasing his in-depth knowledge of the regulatory and compliance framework in the finance industry. He is a senior partner at Accountant, a renowned CA firm with a legacy of 40 years, and is also an independent auditor in his jail to ever educated and undertake himself. He has completed management development program from IIT Kharagpur. He was also an ASA member of CPA Australia. He has also completed A1 level in French language from Alliance Francisco. He is a special invitee in Committee in International Affairs at ICAI for the year 2024-25 and has been a co-opted member in various committee of Eastern India Regional Council of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India like CSR, MSME, CPA, Career Counseling, etc. Since 2020, in addition, Prateek served as a mentor for ICASA guiding CA aspirant and students. So I request Prateek to take today's session. Over to Prateek ji.
Thank you, Chimpu Bhaiya. Thank you, EIRC. Thank you, Vishnu Bhaiya, for this chance today. I hope I'm audible so that I can start. I'll share my screen about what is vibe coding. So today's topic is simple, vibe coding. I think we have heard this this terminology, vibe coding, quite a lot. But we might be wondering what is coding to be done with chartered accountants. So in the regional conference we had in Vishwa Bangla, there also I had taken the topic vibe coding, because going forward, everything that we do in our office somewhere has to be had the blend of work and intelligence. So vibe coding is more of working smartly. AI is there to help us but not replace us. So how we can take the help of AI and monetize our practice better, so that in coming times when we deliver our services to our clients, existing clients, potential clients, we are a step ahead from the general who are not using AI. So basically, vibe coding is all about knowing what is needed, what we want. What is vibe coding? So vibe coding is a AI structured workflow that generates first draft, identifies anomalies, organize compliance, improve efficiency, and preserve professional judgment. So we all are in practice, I presume, and in the practice, there are basically 4 to 5 bottlenecks. The first one being majorly repetitive drafting. Whatever we are doing a repetitive work. the same work which we are doing for each and every client, be it auditing, be it IT filing, be it MCA compliance. So these are very repetitive work, and where we all start from scratch or basically the last year draft. But in the process, the changes which happen over the period, or the new amendments, or the new circulars, somewhere gets missed out and we get into trouble that this was not up to date. Second is this ledger scrutiny fatigue. With this data overflow and so much kind of different transactions happening and taking place, somewhere the data ledger scrutiny is something which makes a user fatigue, be it our articles or stuff, that when similar kind of data come again and again, they kind of do the mistake of skipping the data which are relevant or which are exceptional from the different. Then there is compliance follow-up. We have every quarterly, weekly, monthly, something or the other compliance coming, be it TDS, GST, NBFC compliances. Then staff inefficiency, because students who are in articleship, they have this kind of student mindset and not as a professional mindset. They have somewhere like sir kal kar lenge or sir ye chhoot gaya, but that somewhere brings question into our practice ethics. And then the major in today's time is data protection risk. With this DPDP in place, which is already there, we somewhere needs to get into this ahead of time, I would say, because DPDP is already there. So we need to make sure that we are already compliant and there is nothing that we are losing out. We see we have quite a few members. I would like them to be participant and they can raise the questions, they can raise hand, or they can unmute themselves. I would like this session to be two ways, interactive, so that all of us could take benefit and get the most out of this session. Important is people interact. I will be speaking, there is nothing new about it. We all have been doing something or the other. So I have enabled people to unmute themselves whenever they want. They can raise the question, and yes, and somewhere we'll make this interactive. So the first question I have for audience is DPDP Act. Are you aware of DPDP Act? Have you heard of this? You know what DPDP is? Institute has been quite vocal in making this aware people that it is already there. All the participants needs to be ready with DPDP. A show of hand or maybe something in the chat. Okay, so DPDP Act is something which is there already, as I said. It is called Data Protection, Digital Personal Data Protection, Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. So as we are chartered accountants and we get the client's data, be it PAN card, Aadhaar card, their personal finances, or any kind of information which is private, we need to have somewhere a compliance checklist that have we done the steps which the act requires? Have we taken the consent of the user? Have we placed the record in protection? Is it need to know basis? Who need to know in our office? Are we keeping a record of who can access the data that we have received? And after a period of time, are we disposing of the data so that it is not lying with us forever? So these are kind of checks that we need to have, and AI can help us comply with this DPDP compliances. In sense, we can have a automated checklist of what we can and what we cannot in DPDP. Like we are not supposed to have personal PAN and Aadhaar or bank statements or any agreement upload into the online platforms which we use, be it GPT or Gemini or any other platform. So we need to use it with, I would say, little discretion, and you can mask the data, anonymize it, maintain the consent that yes, we will use this data for our online digital work, or we'll use it in GPT or in AI process enabled system. So you need to have this consent from the user before you use that. And then use secure tools, maybe where you have disabled auto updation in their database, or in a closed environment where you can only update it, or it is not interacting with this own database server. Then we should have retention policy, how much we can retain the data for 1 year, 2 year. Unless we do that, we are not we should not use the data which the client gives us, which is personal. So at the same time, with this AI, there is a revenue opportunities for chartered accountants, that with this AI enabled techniques, we can do better internal audits. There is a full framework which we can use, develop with AI and GPTs, which Institute has released, about personalized internal audits for, I would say, each kind of business lines, like revenue, like manufacturing, trading, small businesses, advisories. So this somehow makes us sure that the client is also in compliance with all the laws and regulatory requirements, which is different from statutory audit. So AI will help us go through all the data that they have and streamline the compliance sectors. I will show you a practical demonstration. We will run through live prompts, how AI can give you reports and create checklists. We will see it in the next round in this call. Then SME process optimization is another revenue opportunity, because the SMEs, which is small and medium enterprises, they are very aspirational in many ways, but प्रोसेस कैसे डिफाइन करना है, कैसे उसको बनाना है, कहाँ कहाँ पे बॉटलनेक्स आएगी, जब आएगी तो उसको कैसे एड्रेस करना है, इसके लिए CAs can be a good helping hand, I would say a partner in their development, in their growth journey. So those all we can help the SMEs with the use of AI and develop processes. We'll see a walkthrough again for that. Then data governance advisory. It is very important that the clients who also get data from their clients should have some governance model. So that is something which we can help them develop. And then virtual CFO automation. A CFO is not just about finance, but also about operations of finance and data that happen. So virtual CFO is kind of checklist of timelines, deadlines, roles, trigger points. So these all virtual CFO roles we can define into something like agentic AI, and then it will help businesses to use AI in their model. So the plan is start small, automate one process, build one process, and then create workflow. Sorry. So now we will see the prompts, as I mentioned. Screen share. You can see my screen. Someone can confirm in chat or audio, so that it doesn't make me feel that I'm the only one live on this and everyone else is there or not. Can someone confirm? Okay. So these are few live demo prompts. We will see. One is internal audit observations. As a chartered accountant, we have gone and done some internal audits, and then we have some reporting clause that the manufacturing company is not maintaining inventory reconciliation and not doing it monthly as it should. Therefore, the risk which is coming in this is very grave, because the manufacturing company needs to have it very detailed 1 month report. So we'll see how we can generate the report which will be giving it to the management. So when we use ChatGPT, this is how we can write as an experienced chartered accountant draft a professional internal audit observation for a manufacturing company where inventory reconciliation is not conducted monthly. Include risk implications, recommendations in structured format. So let's see how GPT helps us here. So it is drafting us a stringent tone for reporting to the audit committee. Area is inventory management. Observation is non-conduct of monthly inventory. So observation during the course of our internal audit report was observed company does not perform monthly reconciliation between physical and book records. The reconciliation exercise is conducted only at the year end for financial reporting purposes. In the absence of monthly reconciliation, discrepancies between physical records and ERP records remains unidentified and unresolved to the extended period. Further, no document evidence was available to demonstrate periodic management review of inventory variance. So this is how it details out the risk, that these are the risks which are key for this business. And the risk contains of undetected pilferage, theft, misappropriation of inventory, material misstatement, production disruptions due to inaccurate stock records. This has happened for real in our clients that the stocks which showed some product which was there in record, but when they found out it is not there, the whole inventory, the manufacturing process was put to a standstill for a few days until the stock was restored. So this is very important that the process does not get disrupted. Increased exposure to obsolete or slow moving inventory. We see there are many where you deal a large number of volumes of line items that this can happen. Okay, so Amit ji has mentioned that the voice is coming slow. Okay. Then weak monitoring control environment over one company's most significant current asset. So the implication is this balance report in books may not reflect actual physical quantities, potentially leading to incorrect cost of goods sold, CGS and profit reporting. See, we all need to also report in our statutory report about the bank's stock that we submit, the client submit every month, that what is the stock in hand in the books. That is also somewhere, I would say, not in line and proper. Therefore, we need to have certain kind of uh, implication to be corrected before it gets out of hand. And now these are the recommendations. As a consultant, we should always give some recommendations how to solve or overcome the challenges which they have come. So a structured threshold policy should be established. Then management should ensure segregation of duty between custody, recording, and reconciliation function. And this is the action required. Management are advised to design, implement a control framework within a defined timeline. So this is one we had. Now, I'm sure all of us might be knowing about this Chat GPT feature, which the institute has started for all the members who have registered them on SSP portal. It is very relevant because these are the, I would say, GPTs which has been framed by institute. I'll walk you through so that you can understand how this makes difference from the general GPTs that we have, the chat GPT that we use. Please bear with me, my laptop cam was not working, so I have connected my mobile cam for this. So these are the CA GPTs which the institute has released, say Accounting Standard Board, Auditing Assurance, Corporate Law Governance Committee, Direct Tax Committee. So these are the GPTs which institutes has, I would say, bordered or guardrailed. These are not supposed to interact with normal world or normal online content. These are very much deployed by institute with, I would say, reliable, credible database. So when we click on any of these, this directly takes you to the chat GPT only. But if you see here, it is saying ICAI Direct Tax GPT. So the database or the memory base is ICAI, official ICAI Direct Tax GPT. So when you click here, you can keep in sidebar. When you click in sidebar, it comes here. I would suggest, strongly recommend that each of members using ChatGPT should use ICAI GPT and not just normal GPT. You see here it is ICAI GPT what you're using. Once you go in normal GPT, it is just GPT. So GPT can be very unreliable, can give you wrong answers or misleading or hallucination answers. But these ones are fairly better, I would say, because they are constantly reviewed, updated. But again, they are not to be blindly relied upon. They also can make mistakes. We'll see the second live prompt. So GST notice reply framework. Draft a structured reply format from a GST notice. So GST hai, so it is better we use indirect tax committee, GPT. So once you reach here, you can give the prompt and see how it. The question is very simple and very dedicated, that mismatch under Section 16 of CGST Act. So it is not a random thing. The draft here, which it will give, will have some basis of connotation with the law, some case laws, some decided rules, and also to GST circular, which might have come, which might be missed by an individual. So this is just a basic draft. We should not use it as is, because then the problem might come around. We should always see it as a first draft. So this is having the reference outside. Then the legal provision. What does the section says? That a person is entitled to take credit charged on goods in the course of furtherance of business. And then the clauses, what is as per the act. And then the issues raised in the notice. Like basically it is always excess ITC claim versus the ITC reflected. So what are the possible reasons? And then detailed submission on each allegation. So here we get a basic draft, and just as the placeholders are there, you can replace them and then ask it. I would always suggest that never give the client details, or if you are uploading the notice, mask it with markers, or so that the names and GST numbers are not provided to the GPT servers. Because then the problem is it can use that data into some other output to other user, and therefore it might lead to privacy risk. This is another this. Then NBFC credit appraisal structure. All the NBFCs these days are getting notices that what are the compliances and risk assessment. Like recently we had a session with Mohit Bhaiya in some other forum. He mentioned that our NBFCs need to maintain all the appraisal process. So RBI is in process to ask that how have you evaluated this kind of proposals. So we can use some of the GPTs which are there and see how this comes up with. So I would like to use Corporate Law Governance Committee GPT in this and see how it gives that response. So basically, format for an unsecured corporate loan by an NBFC designed in line with Indian regulatory expectations as updated till 25/26, aligned with corporate governance principle under Companies Act. Because when we are complying with one regulator, say NBFC, it is also needed that we comply with the parent or the primary regulator, which is MCA. So it is not that one compliance can lead to another non-compliance. So this is giving us a basic appraisal note that how and what data should be there in that note. And because this is unsecured, so there is no security involved with this. And then the borrower profile. So all the loans which the NBFCs has given, they should have this kind of profiling for credit note assessment for each loan that they have given in the past also. I think it was mentioned that we need to have at least 8 years record handy, and all the records ever since like a minutes book and the other statutory registered, but at least 8 years we should maintain all the records of all the disbursement, because going forward there is a requirement that all the civil update which the NBFCs are needed to do, if is in not in place, they might be asked that what was the basis of disbursement. So management and governance, board composition, KMP details, related party transaction summary, auditor details. I think majority of us might not be having kind of uh, data for NBFC groups which has given unsecured loans, group exposure, group companies. Even in DNBS 2 that we has to file with NBFC for the NBFC with the RBI in the CIMS portal now. These group companies and group exposures is very much mandated, and we have to define the role, how it was evaluated. Existing exposure with NBFC, funded, non-funded, industry and business analysis, growth rate. There also we have to select between the kind of industry in which the company is operating, whom we have given the loans, business analysis model. So although it is very, I would say, illustrative and detailed, we can modify it as per our use. Like here it is asking purpose of loan. What was the loan? Working capital, debt refinancing, corporate purpose. Because somewhere, wherever we are giving loan, we need to have a purpose definition. And at the uh, year end, we are expected to have this statutory auditor certificate from the person whom we have given loan about the end use of the loan. If the loan taken for one purpose and used for another purpose, there is somewhere, I would say, serious grave concern, and that the person who is giving the loan, in this case our NBFCs, needs to be aware and make sure that end use verification is done timely. Whether speculative activities involved, ensure compliance with RBI norms. Because RBI makes it very clear that if your financial income is more than 50%, you are doing NBFC activities. And if you do not have proper certifications and licenses, then you are somewhere in violation. So we should make sure that we take the financials and see that someone else is not doing violation because of our loan that we have given. So indirectly, we might also be held accountable for that. So this is financial analysis, 3 years and projections when we give any loan, then liquid ratios. Ratios are important. We maintain that whether they are able to give this debt service coverage ratio. If they are not able to have the liquidity of providing, paying back the money, then how will they serve our interest? So these are credit history, CIBIL scores, SMA classifications, SMA 1, 2, 3 that we have to classify if the loan is overdue. Some other compliances, and then this risk assessment. This is very important for all the NBFCs, and this is giving you a brief outline of how to go about this. ESG and governance. So quite, you will see, and then these also gives you in editable Word format or Excel format. You'll see one more draft. Client onboarding checklist. Like I mentioned in this, how we can have office automation and outflow of our process. So in this, it will give us how we can onboard a client whenever we are taking a new client, and what all compliances we should have for a private limited company in this case. Is it having a proper COI, PAN, is there any abnormalities, names are not mismatched, names are not matching, or address is not proper? Who is responsible for this compliance checking? Verify MOA, are they doing the business that they are supposed to do, or they are doing some other ventures which they are not yet authorized by MOA? So these are the kind of things which we need to verify. Auditor appointment is done within 13 days, or the appointment was done in the AGM or outside AGM. Commencement of business has been filed timely. Chair certificates have been issued. Now with this new everything online in Spice, the certificates sometimes are not issued and are held in digital. So if certificates are not printed, have they applied for ISIN and keeping the shares in the DMAT? That also they can do it at the time of incorporation if they do not want to issue certificates. Then the registers that they need to maintain. So these are the checklists, DR8, MBP disclosures in the first board meeting if it is placed or not placed, MCA compliances. So just to give an outline, apply GST registration if turnover is exceeding. LUT has been properly taken or not. Majority of time when it is a continuity from one year to another, the LUT is sometimes missed out for renewal. And when you have to apply for renewal, you have to give the reference of the old one, the earlier year ones. Ongoing GST compliances, if the composition scheme is there or the RCM has to be paid. So all these checklists can be given, then these roles can be defined. You can break this checklist into different files, and then each department can take it over. And then you can have a checklist. I'll also go through, if time permits, about a dashboard preparation. So everyone just can upload their relevant area of operations, and the dashboard can be ready so that everything can be seen by the partners or the members, and then those charged with governance can be coordinated with those references. This is also very important that this before ITR filing this regime applicability, because based on that the TDS which the salaried employees has to be deducted by the company for the salaried people, that would also significantly change. So it should be on place on record with the company so that proper TDS can be deducted. Mainly for house property people who have house property payment, they are very much keen for old scheme, because in the new scheme you don't get the eligibility of 2 lakhs for interest payment. So in that case, the TDS reduction will be quite different. And ongoing compliance, the quarterly, monthly, weekly, that needs to take place. Fixed asset register is something which majority time we do not find it in place. So you can mention that and have it ready. Ask the client to keep it ready. Then this DPDP. So DPDP is something which we all need to make sure the clients are also maintaining and keeping in place. Consent mechanism is implemented. Privacy policy is published. If they have a website, they should have a dedicated page on DPDP that these are the policies and protection that we are having. Mandatory compliance setups, which we have. Obtain explicit consent. Now, because of POSH, displays of sexual harassment compliance act, which in the director report also we have been doing for last 2 years. So it is not just a line item for a director report, but a policy into be placed that it has been communicated and people are aware of it. We should need to have a person dedicatedly designated for that POSH. Data protection officer is also, which is very important to appoint. There should be one on place on record who is the data protection officer, because tomorrow if someone asks from a regulator point of view, we should have that. Then there is an SOP required for data breach reporting protocol. So these are the things which we can take help and design specifically for the clients, and generates a professional opportunity for us. Additional good governance checklist, professional tax registration, shop establishment, MSME, trademark, PFE, SIC, IFC documentation, monthly compliance, internal control framework. ICA checker is important for statutory filing. It is very much needed to be in place, that one who's making and one who's checking needs to be two different distinct person, not the same one. So this was about the GPT, how we can use, and then reviewing our output. The second point which mentioned in the flyer, that how we can streamline the output which we are giving to our clients. So in our office, I would say what we practice, it is important key when we use GPTs or any, I would say, platform which gives online AI-enabled response. Uh, the output needs to be reviewed very seriously, because you cannot say that this was given by GPT, so it has mistake. When we are giving, it is our responsibility. So in that case, we need to be very responsible for what is going on from our office. Workflow automation, as I showed in this generative AI, this engagement letters, checklist, compliance tracker, deadlines, all that we can design, we can keep it as a record, and all the people who will be doing and dealing with clients, they can use it as a referencer and modify it. So this is basically, we can say, a vibe coding where we are not designing systems, not reacting to emails, but we are designing processes which people in our organization will follow. And AI must operate within compliances. So AI can help us drafting these all reports. And when we use this, AI is not replacing us or our expertise. We are multiplying our efficiency. So I'll have few question answers which I have drafted for our basic understanding, simple but important, because let me share that. Yeah, I hope my screen is now visible. So मोस्ट ऑफ अस माइट बी थिंकिंग कि जब एआई से बहुत कुछ हो सकता है तो हम लोग उसको यूज करें नहीं करें, इंस्टीट्यूट की क्या गाइडलाइंस है. सो इज एआई अलाउड अंडर आईसीआई गाइडलाइंस? So the answer for that is yes, but professional judgment must remain with the member. AI is an assistive tool, not a substitute for audit opinion. Because whenever we give any audit report, the audit opinion that we are signing is our responsibility. We can take help of any of the tools. So AI is allowed under ICAI guidelines, but members should use it very discreetly. The most vital question is it safe to upload client data? Because हमारे ऑफिस में हमारे नॉलेज के बियॉन्ड हो सकता है, हमारे स्टाफ या आर्टिकल्स माइट बी अपलोडिंग एनी बैलेंस शीट और नोटिस एज इज, जैसे हम लोग रिसीव करते हैं देखते हैं. सो दैट इज अ सीरियस नो, very very red flag. We might land into trouble. So we can use client data only if data is anonymized, we have retracted the base identifying tools, consent is documented that the client has said yes we can use the data, tool is secure, it is not I would say vulnerable, and DPDP compliance is ensured. So never upload sensitive identifiers. Will AI replace audit staff? Definitely no. We cannot even imagine how AI can replace. But yes, it will shift roles from clerical execution to analytical reviews. Because पहले जो देखते थे बिल नंबर चेक कीजिए या डेट चेक कीजिए या अमाउंट चेक कीजिए, वो सारे चीज आर नाउ डू अवे विद, because clerically AI can match the two ledgers or the exports. And even GST has taken to a lot extend the matching of invoice numbers and bill dates and also audit staff needs to be very analytical on what output it is giving to the management. Can AI draft tax opinion? It can generate draft, but financial technical interpretation must be by CA. I'll give you a real example in my office from that. We have started on a test case after taking consent from some of our clients, using all the outputs that we give to our clients have a review by AI models, as I showed in my earlier part of this, CAGPT or some paid accounts like Nano Banana or Gemini. So once it showed that, the consent which we take from directors, that they are not disqualified. So that's a standard thing which we have been giving, and normal. We mentioned it in our first board meeting as we saw in the other file. The AI said that the confirmation that the director needs to give of being not disqualified should be on the date of first board meeting where it is giving that form consent. and declaration that not disqualified. So the article in my office came and said, sir, CAGPT is giving this review that we are making this resolution wrong, that uh, the resolution says that on 31st March of so and so year, the auditor, the director is not disqualified and therefore is eligible to be appointed. So I told my article that you see the act and the reference that in the audit report which we give, we mentioned there that based on the representation received from the board as on 31st March of so and so year, all the directors are eligible and not disqualified. So how does an auditor get that point? The point I'm trying to make here that AI will not understand the logical connectivity and referencing part, that the director has to give it to the board has to approve and take on record cognizance, and then the chairman forwards it to the auditor for comment in the audit report. So there is a full chain, and we have been following it since ages because वैसे ही चलता आ रहा है. But these new generation articles who have been coming in and we have been preparing them कि सब कुछ GPT से निकाल लो, Google से ले लो. The idea of referencing the act and going through earlier years. So she is also surprised and saying, "Sir, the CAGPT galat de raha hai." So point is, CAGPT is also somewhere governed by the Chat GPT rules, but with better database, I would say that institute has provided. But we do not need to go as is on it. So we had kept the version which we had in our reviews that as on 31st March of this year, the directors are giving the declaration that they are not disqualified. Plus, then there was this query by the article that, sir, what should be the year in which the director is giving this update? It should be the beginning of financial year or the end of the financial year, which means if I'm signing balance sheet for 31st March 26, so the directors will give the declaration to the board that they are not disqualified should be on 31st March 26 or for 25. So because our financial year period is 25-26, so definitely it has to be on the first board meeting of financial year 25. That when the year began, at that moment they were not disqualified. Because if during the year they were have been disqualified, the company had to be known and intimated by the director as and when the event happened. So we take the declaration on the beginning of the year for the first board meeting. Going forward, what should the small firm start with? So we all attend these kind of sessions, and I'm sure most of us must have gone through AICA level 1 or attended AI summit, which we had recently in COE Kolkata, or AI 2020 session. So we have seen quite a lot. Institute is creating so much awareness through all such programs. So how to start with? I have a small proprietorship firm, or we are two partners. How can we get into this? So simple part in this is draft automation. These are the processes which we need to start with. And then compliance checklist generation and client onboarding system. See how you are developing when you start with this checklist generation, client onboarding. And once you have a grip of this, you get onto other objects of using AI in this form. Biggest risk, build reliance without review. AI output must always be validated, and validated to the extent of a skeptical CA mind, as we've been doing. I'll give you another example that for all the NBFCs audit which we do for say DNBS deposit, non-deposit taking NBFCs. So in the recent past, many of the master circulars have been done away with, and now scale-based reporting, SBR, as we understand, has come up. So then there is base layer, tier one, and another. So in that, even GPTs and institute GPTs, as we saw some time back, may not be able to give you a fair picture because NBFCs and RBI compliances are fairly very, I would say, how do you put it? Skill and special skill oriented. So many of the chartered accountants might not get the hang of the circular. So to expect GPTs or AI to understand and give that inference would be very highly optimistic. So, for example, there is an audit report. There is a report which we give during audit to the board of the company. A CA has to give a report to the board of the company and not to the members of the company. Generally, the audit report which we give is for the members of the company. And there is a requirement under 2016, if I am right, in which the CA has to report to the management that things, certain reportings are correct and it is part of the audit report, but as an annexure to the audit report. So under the scale-based reporting, majority of master circulars are done away with, but that reporting is still to be done by the CA to the management. So when we were doing a check with AI and CAGPT and other tools which are available, it said that this report is not required and all this has been done away with. But we could not find the reference. When you ask for anything in AI, you can always ask, give me the source for this output which you have given, where it is given, in which circular, in which page, which line. Because RBI circulars are fairly long, 100, 200, 500 pages. You can ask, give me the page number or the paragraph where this is mentioned. So there it failed and it did not provide any आउटपुट की कहाँ पे इसको डन अवे किया है. तो फिर जब हमने मैनुअली ट्रेडिशनल वे में जाके सब रिसर्च किया देखा तो अभी भी वो रिपोर्टिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट थी. So the point here which I'm trying to make is the biggest risk part. We cannot have a blind reliance without review. We have also seen in the past that ITAT Bangalore gave the order which they had to recall because the references they used in their order were all hallucinated by AI and not real. So that has happened in past. We are aware of it. So that is about it for DPDP and AI that I had to share. If I have participants have any questions or would you like to ask something or share, you can please raise your hand or type it in questions or chat. We'll take it there. I think we have some 8 minutes left in this session. I would want some interaction if possible, so that it does not feel कि खाली मैं ही बोल रहा हूँ और कुछ सुन रहा है कि नहीं सुन रहा है. इंस्टीट्यूट की तरफ से कोई है?